Alright, so today we're going to finish up the tutorial series for world generation in Dwarf Fortress to using Perfect World to generate everything from start to finish. So the first thing I'm going to do is, of course, open up my world gen file. And then we are going to go to the YouTube tutorial. Now, for this one, I'm going to actually do a 257 by 257 map, simply because I want it to be more of a world instead of a region or an island. And we're going to use Perfect World for everything in here. I'm pretty much going to leave my options alone for now. I might come back later and readjust these depending upon what I get out of this map. So the first thing I'm going to do is, since this is a full-on map, I'm going to play around with these sliders a little bit more until I get stuff that, like this one. This one is actually a pretty interesting features, a mountainous ranged land. Now, it's a little too clumped together for my liking, but as you can see, you just come in and every now and then that sticks on me, and you can adjust your levels. So my percent below sea level, I actually like that, and now I'm going to reduce these a little bit more. I think that makes a relatively playable world. Now, the one thing I have not done is I have not gone out and done the noise field yet. Perhaps I should have beforehand, because I'm not really confident that it's going to benefit me, but here we go. Alright, I'm going to do this a few times until I find something that I like. Let me see about what the weight. Yeah, see, the weight is too much there. Alright, so we're going to go with this one. And we'll see how this one pans out. The mountains are maybe a little too much. I can certainly come in and adjust those a little bit more. Same with the percent above and below the sea level. I think that I actually want to do this one. So I'm going to keep it here, and then we're going to, just as normal, come in and do our rain shadow. I like that one. Now, the difference in this is that we are doing a temperature gradient map, because this is a world. This is not just a region. This is not just an island. This is going to be a complete world. So you have two ways to do it. I'm going to select my gradient center point, and I'm going to get it right about in the middle of the map. Then I'm going to generate my gradient map. Again, you can see that it does it backwards of how you would expect it to be. So you just click on invert. Now you've got your poles and you've got your regions. Now, the hot threshold is way too large for my opinion. So I'm going to bring this down to perhaps there. And I'm going to bring out the hot region to about there, and then we've got warm, temperate, and cold. I'm going to do that one. I'm going to change my warm a little bit. I like that. So to me, this is pretty much what I try and look for. I think that it looks fairly accurate. I could change my hot scorching a lot, and that would readjust everything else, make it more hot than scorching, but we'll see how it goes. If I find a bunch of land in here that is really neat and interesting to play on, I may come back in and readjust this, which I will also go through something that I haven't gone through in the other videos now, because we are doing this as a unique world created through Perfect World. I don't have anything else that has saved this landmass, and that's the important difference here, is that before I've either had just the parameters that I was editing, or a height map that I could easily reproduce the land on. Since this is completely generated within Perfect World, I do not have this land saved, and that's why I'm going to go in just a few minutes and save this to something that I can pull up later and not just rely upon the information saved in the world gen file. Of course, I'm going to come in and generate my noise field. I'll make it a little rough. Click on it a few times. I like that one. Now we're going to come in and do our drainage. We'll keep that one. And we're going to do our elevation cusp map. Now this has a lot of possibility. I'm going to leave these alone for this first time and see what kind of volcanoes I get. And we'll go from there. Again, I do the heart of... I did the wrong thing. I do the heart of savagery, and I always choose my gradient center point. Then we do the map, and that's pretty much not what I was hoping for. It's because these sliders were all the way at 0 for whatever reason. And then we'll generate our noise field, so I like that. Okay, so we've got our elevation map, rain map, temperature map, drainage map, volcanism map, and savagery map all done. We look at our biome map, and let me drop this down again. And it's a rather well proportioned map right now. Before we do anything else, we're going to save the map set as, and this is tutorial. Now, what that means is that now that I have this saved, if I come out of here, then I go back into Perfect World. And I wish this would remember its window size. Now, if I come in, I can open my map set, and I can open my YouTube tutorial. The benefit of this is, once it opens, it opens, and then we can go open map set. Interesting. Let me import in my, okay, utilities, Perfect World, data, init, world gen. File, open map set. I could be completely wrong in what it's supposed to do, in which case we can all learn about it right now. Utilities, Perfect World, save, Okay, so what we'll do, just to prove everything, is to come out and do the perfect world again. We'll have to resize things. I wish it would remember which way that your screen size was, and I think I've already said that. It might be a deja vu moment. So we're going to import in our world gen file. So again, Dwarf Fortress, in my case 43.03, data and knit world gen, and we will come down to our YouTube tutorial. I see what happened. So we don't have anything in here. And the problem was that got resized. Alright, so we're now going to open up our map set. We go to Dwarf Fortress, Lazy New Pack, Utilities, Perfect World, Save, open up your world set. And now, as you can see, we have our world back into play. So everything we did do has been saved, and allows us to go and say, I don't want a North Ocean, or I don't want an inland sea, or I want an inland sea, or you know, whatever you might want. Like here, you can turn off just a lot of different things. You can have a full, you can have a partial. If you look up at the north side as I do that, it looks like it goes through 3 different elevations of, this is your raw height map, the turbulence field. So this is the raw data here. Then you go to apply what you have here for your percent below and percent below sea level and percent below tree level, and then you go back to having the North Ocean. So you've really got a lot of options within here to change things around, and then you got to make sure that everything is clicked here because you want to use all those. And we will export our world gen file again. Now I am going to leave it up just so we can kind of compare what we have here with what we're going to get. So let us play our Dwarf Fortress, and let me get it resized just a tad. It should be pretty good. And now we're going to design a new world with advanced parameters one more time. And we're going to do our YouTube tutorial. And yes, this looks like the world that we just generated. So as you can see, using Perfect World to do your height maps isn't a bad way to go about things if you're not very comfortable with making your own height maps to begin with. There are numerous programs such as GIMP or Photoshop or just about in any other, well, I don't think you can do it in Paint. But you can find different graphics applications that will do a difference of clouds or other random noise generation that will allow you to go in and have mountains of, well, have land masses of varying heights, to have a region or an island or an area that you are actually going to enjoy playing or feel like trying to create. This is very beneficial for those who are looking to use Dwarf Fortress as, well, to have more story to their Dwarf Fortress. Not just use it as a story platform, but to take their world and go and generate a topographical map or other map, a large scale map, and not just the maps that the game spits out, which aren't bad, but some people prefer having a more artistic or more old world feel to their maps, and this way you can go through and really have a map and a place of your making, and it is your world. So it adds that extra level of ownership to the maps that you do. Now we're just going to finish letting this go through the Age of Myth. We should be done right about now. Well, not quite then, but so we're going to accept that, and then we are going to go and view some of our world that we just made. And don't forget, we can go back in and edit anything in the world and get something slightly different each time. Now, we are on region 10, I believe. Yes. One thing to keep in mind is I am not using any seeds. I am using Perfect World for the world seed, the geography seed, but I am not using seeds for my history, my names, or my creatures. So those three things will always be auto-generated by Dwarf Fortress. I might have the same land, but I will not necessarily have the same anything else in the world. It all depends upon that random number generator that's within the game. Alright, so here we are. This does look like our map. We do only have a southern pole. So that's one thing that I need to go back and fix within the Perfect World. I may just take it all out, and I can show you how to do that here in a minute. So I'm not really seeing any kind of volcanoes. Ah, there we go. I lied. I silly. So we've got one volcano so far. It's up here on this northwest continent. Let's quickly go through and see the rest of the world. We've got a second one there down to the southwest. Do we have anything in center mass? No. We got one there in the northeast. Well, north by northeast. Nothing else. And we're going to go through the last area. So we got 3 volcanoes. That's not too terrible. Any more might be too much for the world. But I do not like that I don't have a pole on top and bottom. It's showing this as hot. So it's a tropical ocean. That's warm, hot, scorching, hot, warm, temperate, cold, freezing. So it looks as though the top half of the map didn't generate the temperature very well. So in order to fix that, we can do 2 things. We can come in here and mess with our temperature map, which I thought was actually pretty good. Let's click on the Normalize. Whee! That's a little fun. Why is it doing that? That was absolutely bizarre. So I like that. It's linear. I've got my center point. It should probably be 257 by 257. So half of that is going to be 120. 125, and then we'll call it, man, 128 is about right. No, not 112, 121, 28, 128, 128. So you can choose a lot of different things here with your center point. You can type it in by hand. I can move that anywhere I want to by either clicking or just filling out the coordinates there. So the XY. You can change your gradient map weight, and again that adds some randomness into it. So we're going to do that. and then save it. We're going to give it one more chance to operate the way it should. So let's design the new world. And if this doesn't do it, I'll show you how to remove it. Well, either way, I'll show you how to remove it here after this attempt. And it's really not hard. We're just going to go back in and edit using a text editor, and just take out the temperature layer. And from there, we'll just let Dwarf Fortress generate the poles. That is one thing I did not look at while this is going through. Let me look at the map generation parameters, and I have a north and or south. If I chose north and south, then it would be, I think, what I am looking for personally. So let it continue. And I'm done waiting. We're just going to use it. It's a completely blank world. I just want to see if there is this time. Oh, this time it's only on the north. So there are, those few little aspects there. But what we're going to do is we are going to abort this, and we are going to go in with our text editor, and we are going to cut out the temperature layer. So we're going to, I like this, it keeps it up here. Let's go down to Control Find, YouTube, there we go. Nope. Okay, so what you're going to find, I forget, this one doesn't have scrollability. As you get down to the bottom of your map parameters, you're going to notice this huge chunk of spewed out numbers and weights and elevations. And right now this is the elevation layer, the EL. And as we go down, I'm going to start paging down. We've got the rainfall, RF. We've got our temperature, TP, which is what we're actually going to remove. So we're going to go up to where it begins, right here. And now we're going to go down to the drainage, DR. So we go here and we delete it. Now we have just our rainfall and drainage. And this is generated for anytime you use Perfect World to generate your elevation, your maps, and your rainfall or savagery or whatever. That is all entered into your world gen file in this manner. We're going to save that, and we're going to go back into Dwarf Fortress, and we're going to design a new world. Now I haven't saved anything in the Perfect World after that change I made of north and south. So while that is going, it's already loaded up the file. I'm going to go ahead and export this out, just so that I have that north and south pole generated the next time that I come and do this. But as you can see, I'll bring this back up while we're waiting. It goes through, and it's going to tell me about that because I've saved it again. But it goes through and it saves each one of those options as a numeric file or code section. And if you don't look at it focused, if you don't focus at it, if you kind of move your mouse or your cursor down like this, you can kind of see the land in it. So it's kind of neat how it does it, but it's not really very uniform for, you know, people to really be able to say, oh, well, this here's a volcano, or this one here is a pit, and this has a water in it, and it's really hard to do that, especially when you're at column 779, and you're if you can see it, you're more Neo than I am. I can make it out, but that's about it. Alright, so now we're going through and generating everything, and this does not look like it's going to be... Everything is, Let's enter accept it, and I have no polls, and we will go and see what it's done. I may have to change that back to north and or south and just let it go from there. So here we go, start playing, region 11, Dwarf Fortress, mode. And we wait the 2 weeks. One week. And here we go. Alright, so let's come up here and everything is warm. It's freezing. Oh, I see. It's not a nice place to be. It's all sinister, but it's still freezing. Here we have our temperate. Warm is haunted. Oh, got some haunted. Let's go and look for some volcanoes. I like volcanoes, so sorry. But again, I'm not really seeing volcanoes. And it's really hard to see them up in the sinister and haunted regions because of the color. There we go. We've got one here. See what region this is in, or biome. It looks like a friendly place to go. Friend arrows is the brook. The drab flame. So actually, it's not the best place to go. There's only deep metals and no trees. That would be a tough one to build in. And do we have anything else? I don't know. But that shows you what you can do in Perfect World to generate your maps. You can go and use it and use it only to make your worlds and play with it and kind of get the same effect as you can with a height map. You can certainly go through and let me see if I have a world that I can kind of preview for you. You can go and make your own height maps. Yeah, I'll load this one up. This is one that I'm working on. So let me resize it. So this is an island or region that I'm working on, that I have made the outline for, and I've made kind of the parchment map for, and getting to the point where I can go in and add my mountains and other land masses that I may want in here, and then see about putting it into Dwarf Fortress. I have other maps that I've done that are not anywhere nearly as ready to preview. You've seen, of course, the UK height map. Like that one. That one was just hideous. There was Sri Lanka. These are star maps. These are some maps that didn't turn out quite the way I'd wanted them to. Here's the UK height map. That was actually Mars. So if you wanted to play on Mars, you could. And whoops, apparently it won't let me go back. So you can use just about anything you want height map wise, or generate your own height map. Work on your own world. This is from a game called Asheron's Call. It is a game that I spent a long time playing and wanted to play in its world. So I found a height map of it and dumped it in, and can go and play in one of my old stomping ground games. So you can go and do almost anything that you want with Perfect World, as long as you take your time, play with the settings that are in there. Don't get too crazy with trying to get volcanoes everywhere. You can change your number of volcanoes. I would try and keep it realistic for a large map of 257 by 257. I wouldn't go more than, say, 20 volcanoes as a minimum. While it's not realistic to the world we live in, it just feels like it's way too much out there to have too many volcanoes. So try and keep your I bet you that's part of the problem that I was having. Try and keep your parameters to something that will make a playable world to begin with. And then as you become comfortable with it, you can go and change that and make more difficult worlds, more challenging worlds. Hopefully, everything that I've done has been relatively easy to follow and not too overly fast. I do tend to go through things sometimes too quickly. Let me know. If there's anything else you see that's map related that you would like for me to go over, again, let me know somehow through comments on the videos, and I will gladly try and get back and do that and get it to where it will be enjoyable. Otherwise, I will sign off for now and see you next time.